Hello, Kyle here. Welcome to another Kyle Paints 2019 episode, whatever we're on. I had a show back in late June, and I really wanted the theme to be about the way we'll have all these grand visions and grand ideas that are very utopian and optimistic in nature, but it seems like when we take them from idea stuff and try to bring them into the real world, they always get corrupted along the way, and it always falls short of our dreams and seems to introduce nearly as many problems as it solves. I've always been a huge fan of Expressionism, but there's just something about Expressionism that's too sloppy and has the appearance of being from an unskilled artist that I find really unappealing. There's certain kinds of Expressionism where when you've painted as much as I have, you just know that person knows how to use paint or that person was struggling with the material. So I like work that looks like the way the artist wanted it to be. If you see something by Francis Bacon in person, or like one of Gorky's big abstract pieces, it does not look sloppy despite being expressionistic. It's also a big part of why I just can't get behind de Kooning. I do not like his work. My solution to this was to have that stark white background, and in the last show I kind of let that get a little bit corrupted with the introduction of the washes and the vignetting effects, which I was quite happy with. I also put a lot more complexity into the work, and I thought it would give it this big burst of intensity and energy, but in looking at the work and living with it for a while, I'm starting to realize I might have kind of swung the pendulum a little bit too far in that direction. So my next show I really want to have it swing back. One of the rules that I've been following for the last decade, and I kind of forgot about for this last show, is that after I've created, say, 100 sketches, look at the little thumbnails, the little like 50 by 100 pixel thumbnail on my computer screen, and if the composition holds as a thumbnail and it's distinctive and bold, then it will work as a painting. But if it just gets kind of lost into the jumble and noise, then it's not going to be as strong or impactful as an image. And while I thought these worked when I was looking at the thumbnails, they didn't have that same level of distinctiveness and uniqueness, because there's just so much going on that I don't think your eye had enough. It didn't have anything to latch onto and kind of bring everything together, if that makes sense. Another problem I had was when the image is that complex and most of your details and objects are quite small, it doesn't really leave a lot of room to play as an artist, to move the brush around, to explore different techniques. It's all just thick dab of paint, thick dab of paint. I really want to have more washes, more thin layers, more, maybe even some stains, who knows. Just change things up a little bit, I want to be able to play with the paint and not just sort of slavishly follow the outline I've created for myself. So that's a big part of wanting to simplify things. Sometimes I might have 1 square foot on a painting that's just pure black on the sketch. And when I'm painting that looks a little boring, so I might change it up, do some things with texture or subtle variations to, liven that area up, something that would never show on camera, but if you were to bring it into your home and look at it, years later, and when the light hits it just right, you'd see something you hadn't seen before. I like that, and I want to get back to that. So what I've been thinking about lately is the idea of information overload, and how there's so much stuff out there and so much to read. People don't actually read deeply anymore. We just kind of give everything a quick skim and move on. There's so many sources and so many voices out there. We all have our own preconceptions and biases, and we'll find someone who will echo our own, find them, and almost get a form of tunnel vision where we'll become a fan of this thinker or this writer or this vlogger or YouTuber or newscaster or author or whoever it is, guru, whatever. And we'll almost think everything they do is right and everything everyone else does is wrong, and we just kind of follow them until they disagree with us on one thing, and then we kind of reject everything wholesale and then hop onto someone else who happens to agree with us, and it turns into this really bizarre, feels like everyone has blinders on and is just living in tunnel vision. And I really want to explore that aspect of the supercharged, overfast, superficial society we're creating for ourselves. So how am I going to do that? Probably just a lot of long exposures and a really wide angle lens. I don't want to give the impression that I'm not happy with my old work. I really am. Some of them, one of them is going to be hung above my couch tonight. I'm that happy with it. I want it to be part of my home. Tunnel vision. I'll have to come up with a better, less obvious title for the show, but that'll be the working theme. So please follow along and give me your thoughts and let me know what you think. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good one. See ya.